All my free FLPs, preset packs, and Ghost productions are available at yourmusic.com. So today I want to show you guys a uplifting, happy summer track that I'm working on. First of all, I want to show you the drums. If we solo the drums, they sound like this. So they have a lot of rhythm to them, and it's a pretty organic vibe. It's not the hardest hitting drums, it's not the brightest hi-hats and so on, because I wanted to do something a bit different this time. So first of all, we have the kick sound. And as you can see, I made the kick a bit shorter, and this makes it a bit easier to mix it with the bass, because then there's a lot of room left for the bass to hit. So the kick is not even 1/8 note, it's a bit shorter. And then I layered this kick with a more organic sound, this one, just to give the kick a bit of a different quality, basically. Then we have the claps going on. And there's a lot of layers, some realistic claps or some real claps, panned left and right to give them a bit of wideness. And then there's the more digital claps, giving that punch and energy. And then I added some OTT to make them brighter. I added a bit of saturation to the claps, actually a lot of saturation, to glue them together. And then there's an EQ, cutting out the low end from the claps. So if we play the kick and claps together, we have this sound. And the claps also are very short. The kick is short and the claps are short. And it makes the song sound more clean, I think, when you have shorter clap samples. So moving on, we have some shakers. This is just a loop I found. There's almost no processing on it, just a little bit of EQ. But what you can note here is that I added some swing to the shakers. So from the beginning the loop looked like this, but I wanted to be a bit more groovy, so I moved the shakers off grid a little bit to give it some swing. I did the same for all the shaker loops I will show you. So this is the first loop, and then I added another loop, this one. That I really liked. And I added this loop, just highlighting a few spots to give it some movement. Then there's hi-hats. Again, a very short hi-hat. And then this one. One of my favorite hi-hats. So if we add all these loops together, we have this sound going on. And this gives the track almost all of its energy, I think. So together with the kick, the loops sound so very nice, I like that. Then I added a drone sound, or actually two drone sounds. Just a reverse vocal loop that I chopped up and looped, and also this one. So together they sound like this. So that's a nice sound bed going on already. Then I added a piano. And the mixing for this is very basic. Just a little bit of wideness, stereo touch. It's a free plugin that you can use to widen up the M1 sound or any other sound that's a bit too mono. OTT, just a tiny bit. I don't want it to get too bright, but 18% OTT. Then the EQ is doing most of the job for this piano because I'm boosting the 5K area pretty heavily. I'm giving it almost 5 dB of gain, and this will really bring out the sound of the M1, so that's a trick to use. And then I also boost the 11-12K a little bit, the very high end of the piano, to make it brighter. I compress the piano with CLA compressor 2A, and then we have just some 8-note ping pong delay and some vintage verb, Valhalla vintage verb. So if we play the piano without any effects, it will sound like this. So very mono, a bit less bright and compressed, and with the effects it sounds like this. So yeah, it's a pretty big difference. I added a reverse piano. I just exported the first chord of the piano and I reversed it to introduce the piano. Then I added a simple bass drone. This has almost no processing, just a high cut. And I probably could work on this bass a bit more, maybe give it some saturation, some compression, maybe work on the sound, but for now I think this bass line did the job. I then went on and added this lead sound that I think is pretty interesting. I think it gives it that happy summer feel. So the lead sounds like this. So this sounds like steel pans, or steel pans combined with a marimba sound, sort of. And it's a few layers, 2 Nexus layers. This one, steel pans, and then there's a Serum preset from my preset pack, just to give it some more energy, because these organic sounds didn't have enough punch in my opinion. And also this Nexus preset. And when I added all these together, I thought it just needed some more attack, so I added this snare to give it a tiny bit more attack. The processing for this lead is OTT, Imager, making it a bit wider, and then the RC20, giving it some sap distortion, making it fatter, and also making the pitch vary a bit with this wobble sound to make it sound cooler. And then delay, reverb, a lot of reverb actually. It's at 36%, that's a lot. And that's about it for the most important sounds. Then there's a little bit of a snare roll here, and some sweeps, up sweep, and this reverbed snap sound. But I wanted the effects very minimal, and I didn't want this to be too digital. I wanted a very organic sound, so not too much effects, very clean sound. That's it. So let's check out the final result.